not giving him anything to hit as he's well ahead in the count.
Interesting with this format, back to 1999, Texas A&M lost in the second round that year to Long Beach State, fought their way back through to reach the Super Regionals and then on to Omaha in 1999.
So twice the Aggies have won in that fashion since we've gone to the new format.
While we're at this particular format, Houston likes the idea of 2003 when A&M was in this particular driver's seat and Houston won a couple of one-run ball games.
Goolsby sends one deep into center field. Colligan going back, and that ball is gone. Goolsby fails to get the bunt down and gets a 2-strike count on him. And the result is he goes deep over the center field wall. Third home run of the year. 2-0 Cougars.
We mentioned momentum, and you mentioned Goolsby failing to get the bunt down, but then just a fastball, belt-high fastball from Ellert. That's a mistake, and Goolsby makes him pay. About to hit our cameraman out in center field. But staking the Cougars to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third inning.
Now it's Blake Kelso, still nobody out in the bottom of the third.
Breaking pitch low.
Kelso struck out swinging to start the night for U of H offensively.
Mentioned from Houston's standpoint with the type of ball game that they did play with the Flames of University of Illinois Chicago, they're probably pretty loose coming out here, just saying, hey, there's nothing to lose here, no pressure on us.
I got through Ellert. Duran will try to make the play, can't do it.
See how they'll rule that.
Either the third hit of the night for Houston or the third error of the game for A&M.
See the replay right here, just a little looper, and Ellert falling off as a right-hander, falling off towards first base is just a little bit to his right. And we'll see, looks as if A&M has made their third error in 3 innings.
Rob Childress wants to talk to Clayton Ellert. The Aggies trail 2-0, and remember, back in the second inning, Brody Green saved a home run. It would have been a 2-run shot. The Aggies would have found themselves in a 4-run hole had Green not brought a shot off the bat of Brian Tully back into the yard.
Baseball is such a game of attitude and where you're feeling loose at the plate, guys getting their hacks in. Ellert is a pitcher that does not walk many, 9 walks in 63 2/3 innings pitched. And so they're going up there getting their hacks in. Ellert's going to have to keep the ball down low in the zone. When he's making mistakes, they're making him pay.
Jake Stewart, the hitter, reached on a Clayton Ellert error in the first. So 2 errors tonight by the Aggie pitcher. The other one was E5 on Dane Carter, the third baseman.
Rob Childress' pitching philosophy, you pound the strike zone early, don't work behind in the count. Ellert falling behind Kelso, and then again here Stewart. When you do that, you have to bring it back in, not able to nibble as much on the corners. Falling behind in the count, 2-0.
Getting a short lead is Kelso. He does have 19 stolen bases this year. That's into right field, caught by Brian Ruggiano.
Had ideas of trying to double up Kelso, but wisely just throwing it back into the second baseman.
First out of the inning, and now it's Brian Pounds. Hit into an inning-ending double play in the first. First offering from Ellert. That's it, Dane Carter. There's one out, and they'll try to get the second one. Not in time.
Good call by first place umpire Dennis McComb, in good position. See the ground ball, high chopper at third base, Stouffer, and then you see him crossing the bag. Good call by umpire Dennis McComb.
Now it's Cesario, who's had an excellent tournament, and in his first at bat tonight sent one deep to left onto the track where it was caught by Brody Green. So even when he recorded an out earlier tonight, still put a nice swing on the ball. Cleanup hitter for the Cougars.
Really good balance from that left side of the plate. Good power base, as Coach Chandler used to say. And by that, you're keeping that body pretty quiet and just trying to drive it with the hips. Open those hips, let those fly. Try to drive that ball in the gaps between left center and right center. Good power base.
Up for a moment, Kelso was going to break to second base. He did not. Two balls and a strike to the hot-hitting Jimmy Cesario, Cougar first baseman. Two one. Popped into shallow left. Going to be a long run for everybody. They won't get there. Heading to third base is Brian Pounds.
Both left fielder and center fielder were way deep. Wind blowing out, and with the pop-up, just a little Texas leaguer falls safely, and runners now at first and third, 2 away. Once again, mentioned mistakes. The error by Ellert prolongs the inning, so this inning should be over with before that base hit. And extra opportunities.
That's Ryan Lomard. Reached off an error in the second. That was his first at bat. So it's Brian Pounds at third base, Jimmy Cesario at first. They are at the corners for the Cougars, but there are two down in the bottom of the third. 2 runs already home off the long ball by Austin Goolsby, who came into tonight hitting 195.
Cesario stolen bases, not bad, 11 of 14. Mentioned the aggressive nature of the Cougars. These two ball clubs very similar. Pretty good power, good speed.
(2-0). Lorman, that's right at Blake Stouffer, and he'll end the inning. But the Cougars get 2 across. They lead the Aggies going to the 4th. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net.
Maybe you got a little crazy while sawing Varsity's horns off, or your gig'em got out of hand. Either way, if your whoop turns into whoops, our skilled doctors and nurses, many of whom are Aggie grads, are all here to serve you. As the oldest hospital in the Brazos Valley, we've been caring for Aggies for over 75 years, so we know about traditions. The next time you need us, we'll be here, and you'll see what all the hullabaloo is about. The College Station Medical Center.
Gig'em.
Healthcare, it's what we do.
Hey, you're gonna love this new computer. The processor's like 3 gigawatts. Gigahertz.
And it's got a magical drive.
Optical drive.
2 gigs a sheep.
RAM?
All I know is this baby is screaming fast.
Maybe it needs more sheep.
Your computer's only as fast as the network it's connected to. Step up to Verizon high-speed internet for speeds up to 50 times faster than dial-up, plus the reliability of the Verizon network. Verizon, it's the network.
Now, all chicken sandwiches are not created equal. Oh, there's plenty of good ones around, don't get me wrong. But when you add honey mustard sauce, cheese, and bacon to a What a Chicken, you get the new honey mustard What a Chicken sandwich. Now, if that don't put the zip in your doodah, I don't know what will.
What a burger!
Just like you like it.
Houston leads Texas A&M 2-0. As we go to the 4th inning, Texas A&M just 1 hit thus far in this game in their first 2 contests of the regional this weekend. The Aggies just knocking the cover off the ball. 31 hits and 79 at-bats. That's a .392 average for A&M in their 2 wins this weekend.
And the game of baseball is so funny that you have Jared Ray, that 6.64 ERA coming into this ball game, but now coming out, limiting A&M's offense here to 1 hit through the first 3 innings of work.
Now faces the Big 12 Player of the Year, Jose Duran, and immediately has him down in the count 0-2.
Just interesting that mentioned heroes, guys that step up when your number's called. And right now, Ray is answering that bell quite nicely.
Well, we've told you that Texas A&M softball, they're playing in the Women's College World Series. Ground ball up the middle, fielded by Kelso, and there's 1 out. The A&M softball team, as we get a look at the replay first.
Shortstop ranging over to his left, makes a good strong throw there to first base. It's Kelso to Cesario. Luke Anders, who singled in his first plate appearance.
In that softball World Series, Texas A&M and Florida, the winner goes to the finals. The loser is out. No score, and it's the top of the 7th. Anders pops up. Kelso the catch quickly, right off the bat, 2 down.
Anders taking a pretty big swing, just missed it, popped it up. Kelso deposits the pop-up for 2nd out of the inning. And the other thing, Ray's pitch count is not getting up there to the point that you're going to have to go to the bullpen much. This is just what Rainer Noble would have drawn up.
Ryan Ruggiano involved in an interesting play his first time up. When he came up in the 2nd, Luke Anders was on first, was trying to steal. They called Ruggiano for catcher's interference and called him out. Got a 1-1 count here.
Good breaking pitch right there by Ray.
Two balls, 1 strike. The Aggies have been swinging early in the count. Perhaps a little hyped up with what they've done the past 2 nights, putting up 15 and 22 runs on the board. Great diving stop. And that's the inning off a fantastic play by Brian Pounds. Great leather continues to be flashed here tonight. Cougars lead it 2-0 going to the bottom of the 4th. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net.
So, anyone good?
Yeah, I got Ellis, Penny, and K-Mac, 3-time Architect of the Year. Who'd you get?
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes.
Check it out. The Jay Campbell rookie card.
No way! That guy dominates in the lab.
Yeah.
and just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports.
I didn't know he minored in French.
No matter which road you choose, the Dodge Lifetime Powertrain Warranty has you covered. It's the best warranty in the business, and it comes standard on nearly all Dodge vehicles. No other company matches it. Not Ford, not Chevy, nobody. Dodge. Grab life.
The Big 12 online store is the fast and easy way to get all of your officially licensed Big 12 championship merchandise and team apparel. With a huge inventory of top brands, great customer service, and $4.99 shipping on every order, the Big 12 online store will get you ready for the big game. Go to the Big 12 online store today to get t-shirts, jerseys, hats, polos, accessories, and more. The Big 12 online store, where Big 12 fans get everything they need.
Bottom of 4 from Olson Field. Zach Presley leads off for the Cougars. Then it's Brian Tully and Caleb Ramsey. 6, 7, and 8.
Bottom part of the order is what got the Cougars 2 runs to start with. The 8-hole Ramsey with base hit, followed by Goolsby, the 9-hole batter, with the 2-run shot, center field.
First offering to him from Ellard is a strike.
We've seen Presley display good speed.
Hit that one hard into right field, and that's a base hit. 4th hit of the game for the Cougars. And Presley is aboard to start the 4th.
Presley, 14 stolen bases on the year. Possible threat there to run.
Ryan Tully, that's who was robbed back in the 2nd inning by Brody Green out in left field. Tully hit one hard. It would have cleared the wall just barely, but Brody Green saved a home run and brought it back. It would have been a 2-run shot. It would have been most likely 4-0 Cougars at this point. Ellert thought about going to second base. Instead goes to first. Tully, the sacrifice is executed.
Tully's 13th sacrifice bunt of the season. Fundamental baseball, moving him over in the scoring position now for a base hit. Picks up another run.
Latest update from the Houston Regional. They've gone to the top of the 6th. Rice and Texas still tied at 3. Again, the Owls of Rice only need 1 victory to advance. Texas needs to win tonight, and they'll have to do it again tomorrow. That game is tied. Here, the Cougars have to win twice. A&M just once. But it's Houston that is out to the lead. Ramsey, the 0-1 count to him. He singled and then later scored on the home run by Goolsby.
Ellard keeping the changeup down low in the zone. When he's made his mistakes, they've been up in the zone, and Houston has jumped on those mistakes.
Here's the 0-2. Wasted one outside.
Most pitching coaches would much prefer you wasting the 0-2 pitch than to give up something big when you have the advantage on the mound.
Ramsey stays alive with a foul ball.
Had him reaching for another changeup.
That's at the first baseman, Anders. He'll flip to Ellert, 2 down.
There's a runner over to the third base.
So Goolsby comes to the plate now. He's responsible for the 2-0 Cougar lead with his home run back in the third. Catching this evening for the Cougars.
It started 33 games. This is his 34th start of the year. Platoon a good bit.
It started him off with a strike.
Ellert, not an overpowering pitcher, but hits his spots, mixes his pitches well. When he's on, he's moving the ball in and out, up and down. Hard to get a beat on him.
Miss 0-2.
Nice breaking pitch right there. A&M contingent
trying to urge on Clayton Ellert. Oh, 2. Bouncing ball. Carter. That's the inning. 2-0 Houston. We're going to the 5th. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net. Olsen Field in College Station. Good crowd on hand enjoying the action. The Maroon faithful hoping for a little bit of a comeback. It's 2-0 Houston as we move to the 5th inning. Darby Brown to the plate. He did hit into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second, but that's about the only thing he's done wrong this weekend. 5 for 8 in the regional, 8 RBIs. 4 of those against Illinois Chicago on opening night, 4 against Houston last night. And Brown has hit a home run on each evening of this regional.
Great story coming back from a automobile accident. Having a great year.
First pitch to him is a strike.
Ray mixing that breaking pitch in there, throwing it for strikes.
Brown came into tonight with a .343 average, 11 homers, and 63 RBIs. 1-1. Brown ready to go. Bouncing ball. Lorman. One down.
The replay just handcuffed him. A little roller out to second base. Lorman makes the play. Easy throw over to first base and brings up Blake Stouffer.
Stouffer is hit by the pitch. It's the second time tonight Ray has done that. A&M does have a base runner. Kevin Gonzalez coming up.
Stouffer making sure he get loose. Latest from Oklahoma City, 0-0 going to the 8th inning.
Texas A&M in Florida.
Winner of that game gets Arizona State in the National Championship Series. Best 2 out of 3 begins tomorrow night. Last night they had a little lightning delay in the late ball game.
Had to finish up one game, I think, past midnight.
I believe so.
A strike to Kevin Gonzalez, who hit into a double play his first time up.
Mentioned Ray, just a true freshman out of Midway High School up in Waco. Coming of age here in the regional championship game at College Station.
Gonzalez was one of 6 Aggies that hit a home run last night in A&M's 22-4 win over Houston.
Here we go, Gonzo!
As Rob Childress said in postgame, they don't give you any of those runs tonight.
No,
you started this game 0-0, and now A&M in a 2-0 hole. Love that benefit of just putting away runs and using them when you'd like. Does not operate in that manner.
In the 0-1.
Cut. Good fastball by Ray. Ball boy for Texas A&M, Jace Hutchins, crowd favorite.
Son of the director of baseball operations, Jason Hutchins. And Ray set to go with an 0-2 pitch as Stouffer gets his lead over there at first base. Breaking ball, and Gonzalez fought it off.
Ray has really been impressive in not wasting a lot of pitches. Getting on the mound. They're ahead in the count, 0-2. Breaking pitch, it was close enough that Gonzalez had to swing.
Check on Blake Stouffer. 15 out of 19 in stolen bases this year is Stouffer. Reached out and fouled one back, stays alive.
Jace just barely, almost came up with the catch, but he hustles.
He'll
Always
get a nice
hustling.
hand when he makes those catches off the net.
Youngster loves the game of baseball. Quite a few of the youngsters here in the stands tonight. School is out.
Summer is here.
School teachers are encouraged by that as well.
Well, they are shading Gonzalez well towards right field. Big gap down the line and left. He hit one out there, but it was too far towards Jake Stewart. A&M has hit some balls hard tonight. Most of them have been unable to fall, though.
It's another thing about this crazy game. There have been days that you hit balls off the fist. May call them hooter hits or what have you, but they find their way, look like a line drive in the scorebook, and then other nights you hit line drives, but they find the glove of that defense. You say, wait a minute, that's not fair, but that's just baseball.
Same thing with Brody Green. With that outfield, center fielder Zach Presley shaded well towards right. And Jake Stewart, the left fielder, well into the gap.
One thing about these two ball clubs, good scouting report on both ball clubs.
Runner is going. Stouffer will have that base stolen. 16th of the year for Blake Stouffer.
Running on a breaking pitch. Goolsby, not much chance there with the good jump that Stouffer had. Breaking pitch down low, slides head first safely. A&M has a runner in scoring position, 2 away.
The base hit would likely score him. Brody Green walked in his only plate appearance this evening.
Ray taking his time here.
And a 1-1 count. Skied into right. Tully got it, and that ends the inning. Texas A&M strands a runner at second base. It is 2-0. Houston headed to the bottom of the fifth. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net.
There's a moment at night when all you want is fourth meal. Melty, crunchy, spicy, and grilled.
The Memorial Day sale at Ashley Furniture Home Store has been extended. Get more for your money. Now through Monday, get $100 in free furniture when you spend $600. Get $300 in free furniture when you spend $1,200. Or get $500 in free furniture when you spend $3,000. Plus, pay no interest till 2011. Everyone can use extra savings on furniture. Better hurry, though. This sale has been extended through Monday only. Ashley Furniture Home Store. You're gonna love this place.
Maybe you got a little crazy while sawing Varsity's horns off, or your gig'em got out of hand. Either way, if your whoop turns into whoops, our skilled doctors and nurses, many of whom are Aggie grads, are all here to serve you. As the oldest hospital in the Brazos Valley, we've been caring for Aggies for over 75 years, so we know about traditions. The next time you need us, we'll be here, and you'll see what all the hullabaloo is about. The College Station Medical Center.
Gig'em.
Healthcare. It's what we do.
Gorgeous night here in the Brazos Valley down in the Lone Star State after a scorching afternoon. Top of the order for Houston in the bottom of the fifth. The Cougs have a 2-0 lead. Blake Kelso leads it off. He struck out and reached on an error.
What's up, blocker?
Starting him off with the strike, working ahead in the count. Ellert really just the one mistake that Goolsby made him pay. 2-run home run, the difference in this ball game right now. Really a story of two pitchers that are having the upper hand.
And just 5 total hits in this game, only 1 for Texas A&M. Kelso tries to go back up the middle. Jose Duran is there, 1 out.
See Duran moving to his left here, just ball bounding up the middle. Sets himself and throws over to Luke Anders at first base, and 1 away. Brings up number 2 hole hitter, Jake Stewart, left fielder. Oh for 2 on the night. Reached E1 and flew out to right field.
Aggies 3 errors on the night. In fact, the 4th a moment ago was the only inning in which they did not commit an error thus far.
1 error in the first 3 innings.
Another update from the Houston Regional as they are in the championship round. Duran another chance. There's 2 outs. In the bottom of the 6th at Reckling Park, it is 4-4. Rice and Texas are tied.
Duran, as you mentioned, Big 12 Player of the Year, older brother playing with the Texas Rangers. Started the year in Oklahoma City, Bricktown. Big 12 championships were held. Then was called up to the big club there in Arlington.
Ryan Pounds hits one at third base. Dane Carter, a nice play on the short hop. Cougars go silently in the 5th, but they have a 2-0 lead on Texas A&M. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net.
In 2007, America's grand game came to life on Fox.
No-hitter, Verlander! 756! Ichiro hits it off the wall. Here comes Ichiro, inside the park home run. And the American League has won 10 straight. Definitely feels like October baseball. That is a bomb, and the Indians lead 3 games to 1. That's 8 strikeouts from Beckett. A grand slam through. And the Red Sox win the pennant. This place is alive and kicking. The Red Sox are up 3 games to 0. Game over, and the Red Sox are world champs again.
The drama continues this season on Fox.
In the bottom of the 5th, Houston had the top of the order up, but they couldn't get anything across. Same situation for Texas A&M as we go to the top of number 6. Top of the order, Kyle Colligan, Dane Carter, and Jose Duran. The Aggies on the first 2 nights of this regional combined for 31 hits, 8 of them home runs. Just 1 base hit this evening as we go to the 6th. 2-0, Houston leads it.
Hats off to Jared Ray, the freshman right-hander for Houston, stepping up the situation. Rainer Noble gave him the ball and said, go out on the mound and give it everything you've got. And so far, that's been good enough here going into the 6th inning.
That is a fair ball off the bat of Colligan. He'll round first, and he's in with a leadoff double.
First pitch swinging, pitch is on the inside part of the plate, and he just turns on it right here and gets the chalk. Third base umpire Bryant Woodall right on top of it, signals fair ball, and Colligan leads off with a double here to open the 6th frame.
Now it is Dane Carter.
Infield shifted over to the right. Dane open stance there, but then he straightens up as the pitch comes.
He just hit one deep into right center field. That is off the wall. Colligan's going to score. It's a 2-1 game. And Carter charging to third base. He is in, standing up. Still nobody out in the inning. 60th RBI of the year for Dane Carter.
Once again, first pitch swinging. Fastball on the inner half, and he just turned on it. Center fielder trying to deke the runner, but the ball hitting right at the space at the base of the wall. But Colligan would have none of that, making sure it's down with his speed coming around. Score now 2-1, and the Aggies have the tying run 90 feet away.
The 9th triple of the year for Dane Carter, and that ties a Texas A&M school record.
Good speed, good power. Dane just really has had an outstanding year. Youngsters, just a great family atmosphere.